Thank you, Minister, for bringing this motion here today on this extremely important subject, the EWSS, the EWS. Thank you for your work on this, for putting the scheme in place and for its efficiency to date. I think it's fair to say that without it, we'd have over 300,000 employees, workers in this state who would either be on substantially lower incomes or who may not be in work at all. And it's this sort of transfer from the state to families directly that is able to keep people paying existing mortgages, that is able to keep people continuing with their lifestyles, continuing with their employment. And as we know, employment is the most important thing for any household to maintain themselves. So thank you for your work on this, but also in relation to your role in Europe, I think it's fair to say that without the sort of cohesion that has been able to be generated because, with your participation, none of this would have been possible, and it's very welcome, of course, that the ECB and other institutions have been able to take a very different approach now than had been the case before in 2011, where we didn't have the opportunity to have sort of counter-cyclical stimulus measures of this kind, or indeed other kinds, and where the pressures were very different. But of course, that's only possible for a number of reasons. It's possible because of having had a well-run economy going into this, an economy where there was close to full employment in technical terms, where we had good jobs, where we still have good jobs and the opportunity to create more, and where we've had an activated and engaged labour market using the skills that it has. But to be able to ride out this crisis and to get through it, we need the sort of supports that have been able to keep people with their employers, and this scheme has been doing that extremely well. I think it's also fair to say that the existence of this scheme, and of course it's a slightly circular thing, but the existence of this scheme and its efficiency has been able to contribute to our income tax performance, which I think it's fair to say has been better than all of our predictions and indeed the predictions of your own department. One of the things that has been so helpful to business, and to small business in particular, and to employees working in those businesses, is the certainty that the EWS model has given them, that they know that they can continue, that they know that they can get through the difficulties of lockdowns, the difficulties that are faced in other parts of their lives, knowing that there is a degree of income security in their house for those who are eligible to avail of it. And I think if I could ask that you continue to provide that certainty. I appreciate the motion that's here today and the deadline under the Act of the end of June, but it's clear that the activities, the restricted activities, may go beyond that, and that some businesses, perhaps not all, but certainly some businesses, will need continued support after that period. And I would ask that you bring that to government as soon as you can, and to provide certainty for businesses so that they know. There's a couple of different types of certainty that they need. Some businesses who are able to continue to derive income may need the sort of certainty of the timing of the ending of any such scheme, so that they have enough notice, whether that's 6, 8, 12 weeks notice, to be able to transition their employees back onto a different model, those for whom they already have a significant revenue stream and are able to continue with activity. There's, of course, another class of businesses who have had no activity essentially for a very long time, and that, of course, is predominantly the hospitality industry. And, of course, the government has taken a range of steps to support and provide ample supports to the hospitality industry, including EWS, including the reduction in VAT. But in many cases, actually, they haven't had the opportunity to be able to claw back the benefit of that because they have been closed. So if I might give an example of a hotel in my area which had substantial investment in the last number of years, where they had accrued profits, they had put it back in to redevelopment of the hotel, they're achieving 4-star status, and they had significant commercial loans on foot of that, which they were more than amply servicing, and they had about 80 employees. They are managing through this crisis and doing what they can with the employees that they have to continue to invest and improve the hotel for when it's open. Of course, the VAT reduction was extremely welcome, but because of the lockdown, they haven't really been able to generate the benefit that they might have because they just haven't had the revenue that would accrue in that period. So for businesses like them, and there must be countless others around Dublin and around the rest of the country, the extension of the EWSS scheme is important in itself, but it's also an opportunity, if it can be extended, if particular consideration can be given to that sector, it is an opportunity for them to try to claw back some of the lost revenue in circumstances where they've had the need to continue to service commercial loans of the kind that I'm describing. So there's something slightly different about that organisation to other organisations who have been able to continue to trade, albeit on a reduced basis. And I would ask that when you look at the extension of the scheme, as we come out of the lockdown and as we move into a more nuanced, I hope, more nuanced period of economic planning, that you might be in a position to consider sectoral sort of solutions of that kind.